ASSN.
This is the Adult Sports Situation Network, otherwise known as ASSN, and I'm your boy 12-inch, and that stands for putting your best foot forward every day. Now, let's get into it. The Chicago Bears just traded a 4th-round pick for Keenan Allen. Unbelievable move by Ryan Poles. It's now going to be Ryan North Poles. You know what I'm saying? Because he's out here dropping gifts. We needed another receiver. We got that receiver. He's a Pro Bowler. Now let's take a look at Allen. He's 31 years old. He signed a contract extension in 2020, and he's now due a $5 million roster bonus this Sunday, and he has 1 year left on his contract. We made this trade with the Chargers for a 4th-round pick. Things are looking really good. Allen finds a new home in the Chicago offense, playing opposite of DJ Moore. And he's a 6-time Pro Bowler, and he's reuniting with his coach, Chris Beatty, that he had out there in Los Angeles with the Chargers. He played under him between 2021 and through 2023, and last year he had a career high with 108 passes, and he also posted his second-best output of his 11-year career with 1,243 yards, 7 touchdowns, and that marked the 6th time in his 11 years that he crossed the 1,000 receiving yards mark. Now, by trading away that 4th pick, it leaves Chicago with only 4 picks remaining in this year's draft. They got the number 1 spot, they got the 9th, the 75th, and the 122 from Philadelphia. And after trading one of the 2 4th-round picks, number 110, to the Chargers on Thursday, they put themselves in a position where they can have a tandem that could be top 3, top 5 in the whole NFL. No matter who's playing QB at this particular point, they are going to have weapons galore. Now you have somebody who can get open, create space, has great radius, he's a savvy route runner, and then you also have somebody like DJ Moore. Then you also have Cole Kmet. Now, they're going to probably get one more guy for the slot. We don't know what they're going to do, whether they're going to go for the trade back in the draft and get like a Marvin Harrison Jr. or get a Roma Dunze. But the way things are starting to shape up, you can really see what Ryan Poles is trying to do. Because essentially, even if you stay with Justin Fields, now that you got DeAndre Swift in the backfield as well, who put up some great numbers last year, now you're in a situation where it's going to be hard to defend. Whether it's the receivers or some kind of attack coming out the backfield, Justin taking the ball and running with it, it's going to be almost impossible for somebody to keep up with the myriad options that Shane Waldron will now have at his fingertips to deploy anytime that he wants. Following that move, Ryan Poles had this to say: "We're extremely excited to add Keenan to our team. His body of work speaks for itself, and we look forward to him elevating our offense." Then on the flip side, what does this mean for Los Angeles, for the Chargers? They're moving on. They had some people they had to cut this year. They had a lot of moves that had to be made. They hardly had any space under the salary cap. They are restructuring Khalil Mack and keeping him. They had to cut Mike Williams. And because they couldn't restructure his contract, they had to move on by trading him. And I know this means a world to the Los Angeles Chargers fans out there. For Chargers fans, drop in the comments below how you guys feel about this move. And do you think this opens up the opportunities that you guys will have here pretty soon in the future? And do you guys fully trust within Jim Harbaugh? Everybody knows what this type of player means to the organization. He's played his whole career for the Chargers. He really did not want to leave. He's been there this whole time. He's the longest tenured player there, and he really did want to stay. But when trying to restructure his contracts broke down, this opportunity opened up, and this gave them the ability to get some cap relief, as well as put Keenan in a great position to fight for a title. The team owner, Dean Spanos, had this to say: "What Keenan Allen meant to the Chargers for more than a decade cannot be adequately or expressed through mere words. There will only be one Keenan Allen, and we cannot thank him enough for the contributions he has made to our organization, both on and off the field." From what we're hearing, he's a stand-up guy. People in the locker room love him. He should bring a lot of leadership, veteran poise to the situation. You got DJ Moore back there at 26 years old. Justin Fields is only 25 at this particular point. Or if we do draft Caleb Williams, this is a young core now with some veteran leadership that knows exactly how to get the job done. Okay, he's coming off his 5th season with 100 receptions, which is tied for 3rd most in NFL history, trailing only behind Antonio Brown and Brandon Marshall. Then he also holds the record for the most games with 15 receptions, with 3 of those, and he ranks 4th all-time for most games with 10 receptions. He had 4 games with 10 receptions last season, tied for the 2nd most in the NFL. So this tandem is going to be flu season. It's going to be poisonous, because you cannot sit there and now leave DJ Moore or leave Cole Kmet or leave him open. And if we do trade back in the draft and we secure somebody like a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a Roma Dunze, which we would not take with number 2 or 3 pick, but if we do secure one of these top talents that are in the draft this year, like a Malik Neighbors, that's going to leave leeway for somebody to step into that role after Keenan Allen does leave. Because right now, from what I'm suspecting is, by looking at the way things are structured, I wouldn't be surprised personally if Ryan Poles extended him for 2 extra years on top of this, being that he's going to be 32 years old going into next season, and he's in his prime. So there would be no reason to try to really sign him for longer than having him for 3 years. But at this particular point in time, if you do in the draft utilize your position and your leverage to get more draft picks, no matter which they do it with, the number 1 or the number 9, and we all know 1 is way more valuable, especially with an asset like a Caleb Williams that looks like presumably going to be the number 1 pick. You can really start to utilize those assets in this draft and also next year's draft to build around somebody like Justin Fields, to give him the actual tools and the weapons that he's always needed. Now, the O-line still needs to be addressed. We got some backup pieces there, but through the draft and through more moves and finagling, this could seriously be addressed. Not only that, but when you have route runners and receivers like this who will catch the ball, and they do know how to get open, create space, and run perfect routes in a sense, you now have a formula where the O-line, if they fortify it enough to where it's even decent or a little bit above average, that will give the quarterback time to actually throw the ball to these weapons, because these weapons will now be open. This is not going to be like the years of the past. This is a whole new situation in Chicago. The Bears are now looking at eyeing possibly taking the North. And this can't be more of an exciting time for the Bears Nation, because right now you're on the precipice. And with one more move from Ryan Poles, this whole organization's trajectory could change to being something mind-blowing that nobody's even thought was even possible in Chicago. He's seen how this is done in Kansas City. He was a part of the whole process, and he's bringing all that, plus his savvy ability, his poise, along with Ian Cunningham, and he is making remarkable moves right now. I mean, having DeAndre Swift now, you do have some pieces on the O-line that could be utilized, and if he positions himself correctly, now you will have lateral movement in the draft to fortify the line and also get another receiver that can continue this formula that you now have, whether it's going to be with Justin Fields or it's going to be with Caleb Williams. But let me ask you this, and place this down in the comments below. This, like I said in previous episodes, this is win now season. This is win now. This is when you go for it. You can't keep rebuilding in year 3. This is the build being topped off this year and next year. So do you think that he's doing all of this for a rookie quarterback that he doesn't even have the medicals on yet? Or do you think he's doing this for Justin Fields so he can actually go out there and utilize this coaching staff's ability on the offensive end and also the weapons? Also the weapons that they will now have. And folks, this is not even over with yet. After making all these moves, what does it probably mean? Well, it looks like they're poised and positioned to be able to take on a rookie quarterback like a Caleb Williams. Or, if they don't trade back from 1, they hold on to it, they still utilize 9, and they take both in their training camp. This is your boy 12-inch putting his foot down, and this is ASSN, the Adult Sports Situation Network. And next time we pull up in your YouTube feed, get your ass in.